So guys, the time is currently 5:33, 4:34, something like that. Today I'm just very tired. This morning I did not want to wake up. I was like halfway through a dream and I just didn't want to get up. Like getting up perhaps took a little bit of willpower, and making this video is took a little bit more willpower also because I just wanted to go back to sleep. But I know that if I do so, yes, I may feel better for sleeping, but then I wasted my mornings. Then I wasted this quiet peacefulness where I could have got some work done. Now, even though I woke up and took a cold shower, I'm still a little bit sluggish. Like I can feel it in my body as if I had just had a very big meal. So I guess this morning I'm gonna just stick with my routine and just face my first work block. Now, I guess the plan I'm going to use to really put myself back into this workflow is to just do 30 minutes of work and then get like a 5-minute break. And I guess this will really allow me to cut through my procrastination because I'm not telling myself that, David, you're very tired right now, so I expect you to sit at your desk for 3 hours. Because if I told myself that, yes, I may still do it, but would I really be inclined to? Perhaps not. I'll probably show a lot of resistance. So this morning, I'm gonna just go into my first work block with 30 minutes work, intense focus, and 5 minutes break. Because I know by doing so, I will, first of all, be more okay with going into the work block knowing that I'll take a break after 30 minutes. But most importantly, what I also know is during the 30 minutes, I'll find flow in my work. I'll find that the work itself is actually enjoyable. And then I'll get into a somewhat work mind, right? I'll be more ready to take on the challenges of the day. But it is to reduce the barrier of entry so that we can do the work first before something like that, guys. I don't know. I'm definitely mumbling on. So I'll see you guys this afternoon or when I get my first work done, when I am a little bit more clear. But at the moment, I just want to sit through my first work block. I just want to get back into the flow because if I don't do that, then I'm gonna be distracted. If I don't do that, then perhaps I'll go back to sleep because I feel like my life has no meaning. And that's definitely not true. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So guys, it is around 11:48 p.m. Well, a.m. and I'm about to go to work, but before I done so this morning, I did a little bit of work, did some self-reflection, and most importantly, I also read and did some recalls on enhancing my memory. So you could say that today I have perhaps done just a little bit of everything to not lose my momentum, to not lose consistency, as this afternoon I'll be at work till the evening. Therefore, there's very little chance that I'll come back when I have time to do the work. However, this morning what I realized is that I didn't really sit through this 3 hour work block like I had wanted to in the beginning. Matter of fact, throughout the first work block and when throughout my reading session, I have noticed that I have fallen asleep, quite honestly, 4 times. And it is crazy to see that this had happened because I am someone who normally doesn't fall asleep during the day. When I wake up, I wake up. But for some reason, this morning, I was just not there. My mind was just not present. Even after my cold shower, even after everything, I was just sluggish. I was tired. I felt almost depleted. Now, I'm not sure if this was due to I ate something different yesterday. And I'm not sure if this is due to my diet yesterday, as last night I had a little bit of a more fat heavy meal. Perhaps that has something to do with my energy levels, but either way, I just woke up this morning not my clearest. But despite how my body is telling me, David, you're a bit tired, go back to bed, I decided to just sit here and face this discomfort, face this perhaps maybe an initial feeling of laziness, of complacency, because that's what I thought my body was trying to fool myself back into, is to stay in bed, stay lazy, and do nothing. Now, although I have slept for 4 times throughout my work block, like quick little naps, like just kind of dozing off, although I had 4 naps, I could say that if I didn't fight this urge to stay in bed, if I didn't fight this urge to say, oh, today I'm not feeling it, so let me just kind of lay back in bed and call it a day, if I didn't fight this urge, then perhaps I would have never gotten done any work. Perhaps I wouldn't have read. Perhaps I wouldn't have had time to just work on my project a little bit. Now, even though my output and my productivity was not the best, as I can be honest with that, I didn't even feel like I was performing at my best, at my clearest, because my mind went and my focus was just not there. But I could say that I got something done at least, that I managed to sit there and do something. Because if I didn't choose to make the choice that I am going to have some control over my mind, that I am going to say and act on what I believe on, then my emotions will drive me onto actions and behaviors which I later will regret. And that regret will snowball into negative self talk, into negative beliefs about myself, and set some limitations on myself that I don't believe on. But because I choose to fight this urge of complacency, because I choose to fight this urge of being lazy, I managed to sit here today and do something. And I do believe this is perhaps the most important thing that we should all take into consideration. That sometimes the work may not be great, that sometimes we not be in this flow state. But no matter the case, if we are constantly allowing our feelings and emotions to dictate our next action, then we will live a life of unhappiness, that we will live a life of constant doubt and regret of what we could have done and what we should have become. Because our feelings is never the truth of our reality. Rather, it is only in the moment of how we feel. Meaning, our feelings, whether happy or sad, will subdue over time. And the moments of sadness and the elevation of happiness will not be around forever. But the only thing that is going to sustain our happiness and sustain our feelings of good or bad is the choices of actions we decide to make next. Meaning, if you are feeling tired at the moment and you choose to stay in bed and you choose to avoid your duty, obligation, and meaning in life, then you are only going to feel more down, more depressed, and more unfulfilled. However, if you don't listen to your feelings in the moment and understand that you have things to do, that if I do something today, whether I am great or whether I progress in it how I want to, just doing something against how you feel will make you feel more happy, more successful, and feel like as if you have achieved more, even though you know that you haven't performed at your best. And the only reason why we feel like such is because we choose to make the decision that we are not going to be controlled by this feeling, this momentarily feeling that is going to fluctuate throughout our entire day. So, doing something is better than doing nothing. And listening to how we feel is definitely important. Don't get me wrong, we should definitely listen to how we feel, but sometimes we have to understand that if you just woke up, or that if you have done nothing for your whole entire day besides doing the bare minimum, then if your body is telling you that I am tired, I am fatigued, I am drained, then you should take that as an indicator that you're actually not how you feel you are, but rather you are just unwilling to break free out of your comfort zone. And the cases is a lot of us are not even close to becoming overworked. A lot of us are not even close to becoming overtrained in stretching our mental capacity. But rather, we have limited ourselves to how far we can go and how much we can become. And by doing so, we are shortening and tightening our mental capacity and mental will to go beyond what we are normally comfortable with. Meaning, if normally you haven't done any work, then doing something will feel very tedious and very difficult for you. But doing more of that will stretch your mental mind so that you can do more eventually. And the trick here lies is to not do too much at the beginning. Similarly, as you would work out, you wouldn't go deadlift or bench press the heaviest you can. Of course, you may lift the weight, but your chance of injury is far outweighs any momentary gains you could gain in muscle weight. Therefore, it is gradual, small improvements and constant and deliberate practice of improving the things you suck at over time that is going to make you improve in life. It is going to make you excel in your craft and master your occupation eventually. But this has to be a steady growth and this has to be a consistent growth. So understand that you don't have to give everything today, but just doing a little bit more than yesterday and doing things that you totally suck at and do not understand is one sure way to improve your mental strength. Is one sure way to stretch your limitations, the ones you had set on yourself because you choose to be lazy, you choose to listen to your mind, and most importantly, you choose to let emotions dictate every single actions you made in life. Now, don't get me wrong, I have allowed in my emotions to take hold of me, perhaps since I was born, guys. Honestly, since I was born till probably 17, I allowed my emotions to take control of me because I knew not better. But now I understand that I don't have to let my emotions control me. I don't have to listen to the voices in my head, but rather the voices in my head are the voices I created by myself. So if I just tap into this inner dialogue and change the way how I see the world, see myself, then I can break free from a generation of entrapment. That being said, I'm gonna go downstairs and have some food, get dressed, and go to my Sunday shift. Although it is obviously not the last thing I want to do, I still have to do it because I have a goal to accomplish and I have a purpose to fulfill. And I do believe by doing so, working is going to support me while I do so. That being said, it has been a wonderful Sunday. Done my self reflection, did some work, although not the best, at least I've done something. And that is important. I'll see you guys in a bit.
So, guys, the time is currently 6:54, and that is another day and another week down the drain. So, came back from work, had a shower because I absolutely stinked like roast pork, and that is the last thing I want to do to stain my chair, which is already pretty much stained, and to smell more like roast pork, and that definitely isn't what I want. So, I quickly went up, had a shower, refreshed, and pretty much just sit here now and pretty much just, yeah, sum up my day, guys. And I have to say that today has been another tiring day. And that is also because I haven't really ate anything else besides 200 grams of chicken breast, which is not a lot of food for the whole day. But the good thing is, after this video, I'll go downstairs and devour in some delicious rice, chicken, and sardines. It's going to be absolutely delicious. And that is going to be the reward for the week. Although I was thinking about perhaps watching a movie to kind of wind down, to get my mind off things, but I don't know if I have enough time for that. And furthermore, I think there's more enjoyable things to do than just watch a movie. And I think I'll just probably listen to an audiobook and just still follow my routine because it's Sunday. I know it's Sunday, it's supposed to be a weekend, but honestly, I spend majority of my day at work, and that is not somewhat my purpose, right? That is not somewhat one of my goals in life. So that is something I have to do to support my goals. Definitely, don't get me wrong, I need to work to buy the groceries, but that is not how I envision my life to be. So, yes, I have spent a whole day at work, or half a day, however you like to say it, but that is not my priority. That is not my goal. That is not my version of working towards my goal. Therefore, I want to use the rest of the day to just kind of still treat myself nicely, still listen to some audiobooks, still read a book I want to read tonight. But most importantly, I'm not gonna like just distract myself and just shut my brain off simply because I had a long day at work, because that's just not how we should tackle life, guys. We shouldn't tackle life like that. We should stay focused as to what we should do. And just because you had a hard day at work doesn't necessarily mean you have the right to just kind of wander off into the distractions, right? Because you have to stay focused. You have to stay clear. And the only way to stay clear and vigilant is to have your clarity, is to stay in the present. But if you distract yourself, well, you're no longer here. You're no longer here thinking about how you can make tomorrow better, how you can make your future better. And precisely that is exactly what I will also do tonight Although I have self-reflected earlier today, I do want to do a little bit more just to set out a plan for me to achieve some goals next week so that I know I am improving, so that I know I am getting better. That being said, I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, and I do hope really that you guys had done your self-reflection. If not, don't worry, it's never too late. Sunday, Saturday, Monday, whatever day, it does not matter. Just pick a day to do some self-reflection. I beg you guys, trust me, you will see the power of self-reflection. You'll see exactly what you are wasting your time towards in life and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. It only takes 10 minutes. It's all you need. Just spend some time off scrolling TikTok and just do your Sunday self-reflection, because this will allow you to understand what you should focus on and what you should eliminate in life, the things that is holding you back to achieving your greatness. That being said, I hope you guys have had an amazing day, and I'll always be here for you guys. So until then though, good night.